our brothers and sisters, we stand and fight. With a drum, a song, this purpose change of time. This is the true reckoning, the human awakening. Together, brothers and sisters, I will know more. Together, brothers and sisters, I will know more. Oh,
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining the Office of Multicultural Student Affairs today. My name is Beck O. I'm one of our program managers. I would like to call to the stage our wonderful Master of Ceremony, Christina Davis. She currently serves the VCU community as an academic advisor and instructor in the Interdisciplinary Studies Department and is proud to be Indigenous as well as a VCU alumna. She will now provide our ceremony's land acknowledgement.
I'm a little short. Is that okay? Okay, I'll try this. First, I want to say thank you to everyone for joining us today for our inaugural ceremony. And I want to give special gratitude to Chief Atkins and the Chickahominy tribe, Rappahannock tribe, Upper Mattaponi tribe, and the Saponi tribe. I come before you today to present an acknowledgement of land statement to those who were here prior to settler colonialism. I'd like to clarify that VCU does not currently have an official acknowledgement yet, and I will be speaking on behalf of myself, OMSA, and fellow colleagues who are making strides to be better allies and accomplices. Also, this statement is lengthy because of the nature of our gathering today, which is to be educational and informative, and honestly speaking, to promote fellowship. This statement is not only presented to acknowledge the past, but to acknowledge the present and the future. The descendants of the indigenous peoples that are native to the land which we currently occupy. We are acknowledging the existence of a people that is still here, and our ancestors who experienced forced relocation, genocide, and assimilation. Many of us learn of indigenous peoples in a historical context and are not aware of the truth surrounding their past and current lives. Therefore, it is our responsibility to show homage to our indigenous community by stating, I ask that you join me in acknowledging and honoring the indigenous communities native to this region, the Monacan Nation, and the Powhatan Chiefdom, their elders, both past and present, and to their future generations. At this time, there are 7 federally recognized tribes: Chickahominy, the Chickahominy Eastern Division, Monacan Nation, Nansemond, Pamunkey, Rappahannock, and Upper Mattaponi, and 4 state-recognized tribes: the Chiranaca, Nottoway, the Mattaponi, Nottoway, and Potawatomi. I emphasized our recognition because the systemic process that must be completed for that designations takes a lot of time, energy, and resources. For context, 7 of these tribes and the Monacan Nation did not become state recognized until the 1980s, and the first tribe to be recognized was in 2016, the Pamunkey. For further context, I'd like to emphasize that there were more than 30 tribes that made up the Powhatan Chiefdom in 1607, which leads me to conclude with, in the spirit of healing, we acknowledge that Virginia Commonwealth University was built on their homelands, founded upon exclusions and erasures of many indigenous peoples. Therefore, this acknowledgement demonstrates a commitment to the commencement of a process to dismantle the ongoing perpetuation of the residual effects of settler colonialism. We look forward to building relationships that will enhance the promotion of respecting the work of our Native communities, their leaders, and families, and make ongoing efforts to center Indigenous knowledge, creativity, and resilience. I would now like to welcome Dr. Miriam Kadeba, the amazing director of the Office of Multicultural Student Affairs. She has contributed to the VCU community since 2016 in a variety of ways, including serving as a former staff psychologist at University Counseling Services. I'd also like to give special thanks for making this happen.
This is a beautiful looking room. Bonsoir, everyone. The OMSA team jokes that we've entered Akwaaba season, and it remains the way I want to greet everyone during our cultural achievement ceremony. So I have said Akwaaba to quite a few loved ones. But this is my time to say Akwaaba tonight. Akwaaba means welcome in my home country of Côte d'Ivoire in West Africa, and I would like to sincerely greet you on behalf of the entire Office of Multicultural Student Affairs and the Division of Student Affairs at VCU. Akwaaba to our elders and ancestors whose blessing allow us to be here today. Akwaaba family, friends, and loved ones gather here tonight and joining us virtually. Akwaaba to our campus partners, faculty, staff, and every friend of OMSA in here. And a heartfelt Akwaaba to our spring 2023 VCU graduates and our alumni, the very reason we're gathered here tonight. Please join me in celebrating y'all. Yes. It is important for me as OMSA director to properly welcome you to this space. We're here for a celebratory occasion after all. The cultural achievement ceremonies give us a chance to hold that the path to being here may have been tumultuous for some, and also you are here. You gave your heart and made it here, and your community is here to celebrate you. This inaugural ceremony is taking place to honor you, your family, and your community, your sacrifices, and your triumph along the way. Speaking of triumph, I believe being able to hold the first ever Native, Tribal, and Indigenous graduation ceremony at VCU is a triumph. This ceremony has been months, years, and decades in the making, and I cannot stand here without acknowledging and expressing gratitude for the efforts of everyone who has contributed directly or indirectly over the past several years, and specifically over the past year, to allow us to come together in a manner that hopefully makes you feel seen. And for VCU alum in attendance, I thank you for coming back and allowing us to celebrate you today as well. Go back in time with me a little bit and the OMSA team to reflect on the past year, a year that was full of adventures and celebrations of Native pride. Perhaps you attended some of our crafting social programs in November, such as the Paint and Sip, with artist, I would say, Devon from the Rappahannock tribe, or the special edition of Being My Own Boss with Indigenous beadwork artists, Caitlin from the Rappahannock tribe, and Miss Tamsi from the Chickahominy tribe. Maybe you join us for Indigenous Her Story in March, where we learn more about the Native experience at VCU from Chickahominy tribe members and VCU alum, Aunt Seidel and Jessica. Or maybe tonight is the first time you're interacting with the OMSA office. Either way, we're honored to show up for you and shower you with love and praise today. In the world we navigate every day, the sort of love I'm speaking about is necessary and revolutionary. I remain amazed by how Native families and communities care for one another, show up for one another, and hold close to your heart's values such as the importance in family and community. And I think that's what makes this space, a space like today, so special, because you can in many ways feel this energy right now. You can feel the love in the space with all the family and loved ones present. One of our lovely graduate assistants reminded me recently of something I shared with her earlier this year, which is that a space and/or interaction does not have to be clinical to be therapeutic. This remains the intention behind all our efforts at OMSA, and I hope the moments you've shared with the office have been healing. For today, may you feel affirmed and loved. May you recognize how unique you are as we rejoice to cheer for you. I am humbled and so excited to utter the following words. Congratulations, Spring 2023 VCU graduates. We're so proud of you.
Now we are so deeply honored to have VCU alumnus and Chief of the Chickahominy Tribe, Stephen Atkins, to provide our opening keynote remarks. I also want to say thank you very much for your time. It's very precious, and thank you for being here. It means the world to me and to us here at VCU, and especially here at OMSA. We're honored. If you could please give him a round of applause.
Thank you for your kind words. People like to have a sense of belonging, and you gave me that sense. And I hope everyone that's here today feels like you belong here, that you're part of something great, part of something that is happening, part of history where you're here, and part of that history making. So I bring you greetings in Algonquin tongue, Wingapo, Wingapo. I bring you greetings from the Indigenous peoples throughout the Commonwealth. Specifically, I bring you greetings from the Chickahominy Indian tribe. And I extend congratulations to the class of 23. And I appreciate the work of the faculty and staff. This is a milestone achievement, a signal event in your lives, so congratulations are in order. But let me tell you, you Gen Z folks, you are the hope of the future, hope for the future. And why do I say that? You do not stand for the status quo. You're not content for business as usual. You want to know answers to very real questions. And I believe you will assert yourself and find answers to those questions. And I think beyond that, you will find solutions to what has been deemed complex problems. So I want you to ponder, where do you see your place in today's society? Well, let me back up for a moment. Where do you stand in this statement? Where are you in the statement that we hold these truths to be self-evident? This question has been pondered for many years. Even if you go back to Abraham Lincoln, in his address, Gettysburg Address, he said 87 years ago, our forefathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to that proposition that all men are created equal. He went on to say, we're gathered here today to test whether that nation or any nation, so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. And I will tell you, that question is still here today. It's a question we must ponder, and we must find ourselves to be part of that, where those inalienable rights granted by our Creator to seek life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So where do you fit in that question? Where do you fit in that statement? What I'm doing is challenge you to assert yourself, to find your place in that statement. While the Constitution of the United States didn't really reach out and grab me and include me in it, I believe I'm part of that Constitution. I believe that it's essential for you and me to join in that journey to a more perfect union. Without your input, the union will not be perfect. I just think you need to understand today we are part of the people that are needed in order to form a perfect union. I want you to embrace it, I want you to accept it, and I want you to strive to make sure you assert yourself so that we can open doors for others to be part of that more perfect union. The Civil War opened many doors for people of color. The Declaration of Independence didn't do it, but the Civil War opened doors. And sometimes those doors are slammed shut, but we've got to keep on. We've got to open those doors just a crack, get a foot in, and then reach back. And I'll bring Doug with me. I'll pick on him, he's in the audience here, but I bring people with me so we can make we're better together. So I would challenge you as graduates to find your place, to work hard. Don't take anything for granted. And your parents didn't. I'm not telling you to say this to your parents because I know I couldn't tell my mother no. But when you hear the word no, look at it as a challenge. Look at it as an opportunity to move forward. Because if we had listened to the word no and stopped right there, we wouldn't be where we are today. Two dear friends who passed away applied to Medical College of Virginia Nursing School in 1950, and they were told, there's no room here for you. But we have found a school in Minnesota that would be glad to accept you. Now imagine a young Indian girl at 17 years old leaving here and going to Minnesota. We're going to continue to make changes. I'm an alum. I completed my credits the summer of '73, and the way the system worked then, I got my diploma in '74. So I'm the class of '74 who completed his credits with the class of '73. But VCU has come a long way, but I don't want you to sit on your laurels. VCU has a long way to go. It has a long way to go. We're trying to open doors for Indigenous students. We're trying to get scholarships for nursing students. And I've had very warm reception from the folks that I've approached to make that happen. But you graduates, I'm not going to stand up here and tell you that you can do anything you want. I think you need to try. I'm not going to tell you that you have fame and fortune at the door that's waiting for you, but what I'm telling you is you have a place in society that you can make a mark, an indelible mark that'll open doors for others and let people know that you're not content for business as usual, that you abhor the vitriol that occupies the space today from the highest offices in the land, the vengeful, spiteful remarks that we hear. We're not going to tolerate that. You, I know, are not going to tolerate that. The class of '23, I think you are going to ask the questions, and you're going to do the things that need to be done to make this world a better place. So I want you to advocate for civic, social discourse. It should be the norm. I was distressed today to read in the Times-Dispatch where an official in the Department of Education says that she's going to strive to make the SOLs in history to be interpreted as intended. Now, that could put me in a place of gloom and doom, but I'm not going to let it happen, because we will not stand for the history of Virginia's indigenous people be interpreted as intended in the SOL, because the intended interpretation doesn't tell our story. Our story has been held hostage for 400 years. It's time to ransom that history. And I would challenge Virginia Commonwealth University to examine its social studies departments and to make sure the curriculum that's offered tells the story of who we are. To me, it's important for people to know that in 1614, the first treaty between the colonists and the English was signed with the Chickahominy tribe on property we now own, a place called Peace Hill. To me, that's significant because it laid the groundwork for a peaceful environment, a peaceful scenario for the first English-speaking representative government to convene on these shores, and that was in 1619. A scant few years after that, 1646, the Chickahominy tribe and other tribes were forcibly removed from lands that they had occupied for millennia to places, for us, is about 60 miles from where we live now. And we just got some of that property back. But people know of the Trail of Tears, 1830, but they don't know the template was set here in 1646. They're the things that I challenge VCU to tell in their history, to teach in their history departments. And I speak for the Chickahominy, but all of the tribes have their stories that have been hidden. And people want to hear them. People want to know the truth. So then where will you go? What will be your mark? As I said, there's no guarantee for fame and fortune, but I can guarantee you, unequivocally, you can make a positive impact on society. You can rise above the hateful talk that you hear, and you can cause that not to be the norm anymore. You can and must make your voice heard at the polls. Exercise your right to vote. And I'd ask you to give due diligence as you examine the candidate whose name is on the ballot. I want you to make your voice heard at local governments. I want your voice heard at PTA meetings. I want your voice heard at the state and federal government levels. You can do that. I'm not challenging you to do the things that you cannot do, but I do want you to stretch. I want your goals to be beyond what you can reach, so you'll have to struggle to get there. But I firmly believe that you have been equipped to do those things that I've challenged you with. So I'll leave you with this. I really believe, without a shadow of a doubt, the future of this country we call America depends on input from young people like you who are not satisfied to go with the flow. Again, congratulations, and I thank you for letting me be part of this very signal event, not only in your life, but in the life of Virginia Commonwealth University.
Thank you, Chief Atkins. Please know we're doing the best that we can, the people in this room. I have a few colleagues here. We're trying our hardest. Next, I'd like to introduce Cameron Jones. She's our student speaker. She's graduating this semester with her bachelor's degree in biology and a minor in chemistry. Cameron is currently working as a maternal mortality qualitative research assistant for the Virginia Department of Health. Wow, wow. She's also going to GW for grad school, so I just have to throw that out there. Cameron has been involved with many initiatives to make change here at VCU, with one being the Land Acknowledgement Task Force Committee that she graciously agreed to co-chair the education group with me, despite her packed senior year. She submitted a detailed and awesome proposal for VCU to implement a health pathway for Indigenous students, and also helped to push for scholarships. That is being heard at the BOV meeting. Hopefully we can come back with some good news. Cameron, congratulations. I know you will create a legacy of immeasurable accomplishments and change. She will now share some remarks with you. Please give her a round of applause.
Hello, everyone. I think one of the greatest lessons I learned as a child, thanks to my native grandmother, was to become the teller of your own story. Unfortunately, she cannot be here today. And she would probably pick apart this speech for all the grammatical errors I'm bound to make. But I hope to do justice to everything she's taught me over the years and embrace her love for education. Sorry.
Take your time.
So today I'm going to share with you a few stories. When I was asked to be today's student speaker, my first instinct was to say no. Not because I didn't want to speak, but because I wasn't sure what I wanted to share. And I found myself in a trap within my own mind, delegitimizing my identities, specifically in places like these. As an alternative approach to a graduation speech, where many might discuss their successes during their educational career, I hope you will bear with me as I reflect on my journey and also consider the path of students behind me. Growing up as the eldest daughter in a multiracial family living in a small and predominantly white town in Northern Virginia, it didn't seem to matter much what my identity was, only that my family looked different from everyone else. I learned to navigate these experiences to the point where I almost became comfortable with being othered. I found a way to blend in just enough to become a successful high schooler. However, in the process, I also learned to develop a thick skin and a personal confidence that I've held on to as a young adult. At the time, I did not consider how some of my chameleon-like tendencies would impact me in the future, and how my multicultural background may be perceived outside of my small town. Grammy, my Native American grandmother, has lived with me my whole life. She shared stories growing up in an Indigenous family on a farm in North Carolina. Grammy was one of 20 children, but was the first in her family to earn a college degree, and made sure that my sisters and I were invested in our education early on. Through Grammy, I was able to learn a lot about history and my background that isn't taught in public schools. Grammy gave me my love for learning, but also my love for mentoring and teaching, which has followed me to college. My love for medicine was sparked by my mother's family. My grandparents got married shortly after Loving v. Virginia made interracial marriage legal in the U.S. Lolo, my grandfather, immigrated to the U.S. from the Philippines in the 60s when he met my grandmother, Lola, at the hospital where he was completing his surgical residency, and she was a nurse. I had the privilege to embrace all of my passions and identities with my family in my home because of the sacrifices of my grandparents and the space they cultivated. However, as an undergraduate, I have felt the need to choose a singular identity. While writing this speech, I've wondered if this experience may be shared by many of you. To be quite frank, coming to VCU was a culture shock. Suddenly, I was surrounded by people who were diverse in thought, experience, personality, and appearance. I started receiving attention for the work I was doing inside and outside of the classroom. In that same breath, I started receiving attention because people couldn't figure out what I was. I often got the question, "What are you?" People would remark that they thought I was white until they heard me talk about my family, or how they knew I wasn't white, but they didn't know what I was. Never in my life had I experienced so many people trying to figure out what my racial and ethnic background was. It was a challenge to process, as it always seemed to be tied to my time in professional and educational spaces. My answer could never be as simple as my family is this, period. For me, it has always been a more long-winded answer. Many of my experiences at VCU have been positive, and I'm so grateful for the opportunities that I've had to share my background, to be able to bring a new perspective to the table. The experience of multiracial and Indigenous individuals is not one that is often shared in educational spaces or the media. And even within minority spaces, the experience of being multiracial or an Indigenous is not always recognized as equivalent or relatable. In my experience, we are often asked to qualify our identity. Two distinct memories of mine encompass some of the unique barriers students like myself may face. I was in a meeting during my undergraduate career, and during my introduction, I was specifically asked to share my ethnic and racial background when no one else in the meeting was asked to do so. As I met with these individuals for the first time, the message was clear. It wasn't just about what I had done to get to this point. As a white-presenting young woman, they needed to ensure that my racial and ethnic identities checked the appropriate boxes. More recently, an admissions professional told me in no uncertain terms that my success was due to my Indigenous background and because I am a woman. These two experiences illustrate examples of encounters I face as an individual who does not fit into one box. And part of my personal goal is to help ensure that this does not happen to students who come behind me. Fortunately, I have been able to see some of the work that VCU and other institutions are trying to do to allow Native people to narrate their own stories, to share their experiences and educate communities, and also creating space and support for Native peoples themselves to join academia, attend college, and contribute to research. I hope today, by sharing a little bit of my experiences, some of you may feel more seen. I commend my peers for making it to this day and overcoming the barriers I know are present. I hope that as we take the next steps in our lives, we have found ways to embrace the strengths of our own unique identities. College has been a journey for me to become empowered in my identity, but also recognize it is not the sole source of my value. I challenge you to reflect on your journeys, where you have grown, and the people who have supported you along the way. Thank them, and consider how you can share your story with future generations. Thank you.
Cameron, do you really gotta go? I have to say, Cameron's been one of those students that have kept me grounded and keep pushing forward. Thank you for giving me that. Next, we are so honored to have members of multiple tribes here today to perform at this ceremony. In terms of dancers, we have Caitlin Dancing Cloud Robinson of the Rappahannock tribe, Sunshine Brown of the Upper Mattaponi tribe, and Cheyenne Martin of the Saponi tribe. Accompanying them will be members of the Rappahannock tribe's drum group, Assistant Chief Mark Fortune, along with Chad Fortune and Reese Fortune. Please give them a round of applause.
we please give them another round of applause? I want to say again how honored we are to have members of local Indigenous tribes here with us today. I just want to say their names once again. Caitlin Dancing Cloud Robinson of the Rappahannock tribe, Sunshine Brown of the Upper Mattapanai tribe, and Cheyenne Martin of the Saponi tribe. And I also want to thank, of course, our amazing drummers, which included Assistant Chief Mark Fortune, along with Chad Fortune and Reese Fortune. Thank you so much for being here with us today. So it's now time for the part that everybody gets excited about. We will first be donning our student who's graduating this semester, and then followed by that, we will then also invite our alumni, our Indigenous alumni who are here today to walk the stage and be donned as well. Cameron Jones, would you like to rise? I would also like to call up our stole passer to the stage, Dr. Brian. So Cameron Jones here today, our amazing student speaker, is graduating with her Bachelor's of Science in Biology as well as a minor in Chemistry. Can we please give her a round of applause? I'd also like our alumni to please stand and join us right here on the right side of the stage. And please, your donor should join us as well. Sorry, Mr. Doug, that includes you as well. So first up, we have Miss Holly Smith, who graduated from VCU in 1992 with her bachelor's in accounting. Since her graduation, she has gone on to serve as the Deputy Finance Officer for the Chickahominy tribe. Woo! Next up, we have the Chief Stephen R. Adkins, who graduated in 1974 from VCU School of Business with a Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration. Since his graduation, he has gone on to serve as the Chickahominy tribe's tribal administrator and chief, although it should be noted that he completed his credits in 1973. Next, we have our wonderful closing keynote speaker, Jessica Stewart. Jessica graduated from VCU in 2007 with her Bachelor's of Arts degree in English and a minor in Women's Studies. Since her graduation, she has gone on to serve as the Assistant Project Director for the Chickahominy tribe. Her son is here today to serve as her donor. Next, I want to welcome up Mr. Ross Stewart. Mr. Ross Stewart graduated with a Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration in 2003, and I believe he and Jessica's daughter will be doing the donning. Oh no, Jessica will be doing the donning. Woo! And last, but certainly not least, I want to call Christina Davis up to the stage to receive her stole. Christina Davis is a two-time alumna of VCU, as she earned her bachelor's in interdisciplinary studies with minors in anthropology and religious studies in 2020. She then went on to receive her master's in educational leadership with a focus on higher education in 2022. Since her graduation, she has gone on to serve as an academic advisor and instructor in VCU's Interdisciplinary Studies Department. And I believe her mom is here today to don her. Can we just give them all just one more round of applause? I know it was a little bit of a round trip, but I'd now like to call Christina back up to the stage to introduce our closing keynote speaker.
Finally, we are so excited to have Jessica Stewart deliver our closing keynote remarks. Jessica serves as the Assistant Project Director in the Chickahominy Tribe. She is also a proud VCU alumna who enjoys cheering on the VCU basketball team, though, as she said, it may depend on the performance. Please give her a round of applause.
Good evening. Wingapo. I'm honored to be with you this evening at your commencement from one of the best public universities in Virginia, my alma mater, VCU. Go Rams! I bring you greetings on behalf of the Chickahominy Indian tribe located in Charles City, Virginia. I do want to thank Dr. Michael Rao as president of the university, Dr. Lisa Lynn Bryan, Dr. Miriam Kadeba, Christina Davis, and Beck O. from the Office of Multicultural Student Affairs for this unique opportunity to share with you at this inaugural Native, Tribal, and Indigenous graduation. It's inspiring to see the momentum at VCU, working diligently to ensure Indigenous students are valued and celebrated within its academic community by providing a platform to give life to your powerful voice. I sincerely appreciate the partnerships I've developed over this past year with the Office of Multicultural Student Affairs through class visits with Dr. Lisa Lynn Bryan and panel discussions with the office with students and faculty. I know that this is just the beginning of a beautiful collaboration. To the graduating class of 2023, I extend my sincere congratulations. This is a wonderful day of celebration. You are a mighty class that has overcome many adversities, including navigating a global pandemic. And here you are, resilient, ready to graduate today. You have set the bar high for what can be done when you simply put your mind to it. I respect your commitment and diligent efforts in your studies under those challenging and unfamiliar conditions. I trust you've learned some valuable lessons that can be applied to your future work. I also want to offer a special congratulations to many of you here today who were the first generation in your families to graduate from college. What a remarkable achievement. You, my friend, are indeed a trailblazer. I do want to acknowledge the life of Sean Suarez, a respectful member of this academic community. His memory will be one that we should honor and live up to. He definitely made a positive impact during his short time here, and I do pray for peace and comfort for his family and friends during this difficult time. Since my college graduation many years ago, I have learned many valuable lessons, and I'd like to share 3 lessons with you this evening. Hopefully my experiences will help to make your journey a little easier. The first lesson is to be grateful. According to Merriam-Webster, to be grateful is appreciative of benefits received. As an Indigenous woman, I am very accustomed to giving thanks to our Creator for all of the blessings He's bestowed upon me. This is something I've been taught throughout my life. However, this means more than just simply giving thanks. This means recognizing the path walked before me by my ancestors, the dreams they had, the prayers they prayed, and the songs they sang. These individuals worked tirelessly to afford future generations with opportunities they did not have to make my journey easier. This also means being grateful for each one of my successes, yet acknowledging the disappointments I've encountered along the way. Even though I worked hard for 4 years to earn my degree from VCU, it wasn't without struggle and indecisiveness. Do I stay an extra semester and double major? Do I apply for grad school right away? Is my GRE score high enough to actually get in? Should I start working somewhere to earn more money? I grappled with these questions and sometimes still play the coulda, shoulda, woulda game. But hey, hindsight is always so much clearer. Each success and disappointment provided a teachable moment and helped shape me into the individual I am today, and for that I am truly grateful. I believe counting your blessings, in fact, increases your blessings. The second lesson is to be tenacious. According to Merriam-Webster, to be tenacious is to be persistent in maintaining, adhering to, or seeking something valued or desired. Now, I can safely assume that you exhibit tenacity just by being here today. You value your education, and this commencement is a recognition of that persistence. I challenge you to take it up a notch moving forward. What is it that you truly value? Is it worth fighting for? As Native people, we live in 2 worlds daily. That of our traditional ways and that of the dominant culture. It's as if we must intertwine both our heritage and culture with the unrelentless demands of our colonized American system. Therefore, our tenacity must be twofold in a sense. We must have tenacity to achieve our personal goals in modern society, but we must have tenacity to maintain and strengthen our identities as Native communities. It is my desire to see our story accurately told by us in our education system. I am tired of other people writing it for us. I am tired of students in Virginia not knowing the rich culture that makes up the Commonwealth of Virginia. This is something I value and I will continue to persist. We need to continue to the work laid before us by our ancestors. That is the only way we'll continue to progress as Native people. We must use that same energy and work ethic to pour into the next 7 generations. The third lesson is to be generous. According to Merriam-Webster, to be generous means giving or sharing in abundance and without hesitation. Growing up in my Native community, having a generous spirit is second nature to many people. Someone is always willing to lend a hand or offer support when needed. This is because we acknowledge in our journey of life, we do not walk alone. So much has been given to us already, and that is why we're here today, in this place at this very time. Therefore, I have learned from the wise words of my own mom, to whom much is given, much is required. She reminded me of this regularly, and my interpretation of this phrase has evolved over the years. At first, I thought she was referring to financial support or charitable efforts. While these are important elements, it's much more to it. She meant taking all that has been given to you, whether it be time, love, support, and encouragement, and pass it along to the next person. To take from my own personal cup and help fill someone else's, to truly pour into someone else's heart and spirit and lift someone up so they can in turn do the same, to simply be kinder than necessary, to not walk this journey of life alone. This is where I've chosen to find my joy. So having a grateful heart reminds us of who we are and where we've been. Having a tenacious mindset requires us to be present and focused on what's important here and now. And having a generous disposition allows us to extend compassion to the future. As you close an important chapter today and begin a new one, leave here knowing you have everything you already need within yourself. It's been there all along. Now it's time to trust it and not let your voice be silenced. Use your voice to speak up against injustice. Use your voice to teach others about our rich culture and fight against the prejudices of our Native people. Although I'm confident VCU has done well to prepare you for the work ahead, it's your grateful, tenacious, and generous spirit that will help you stay the course in this life's journey. It will have the inevitable highs and lows, but trust you are an unstoppable force. You are anchored in the Native circle and carry the prayers of our people with you. Just continue moving, persist in your efforts, and make sure to give yourself grace along the way. Remember, class of 2023, as you leave VCU today, you are truly your ancestors' wildest dreams. Thank you.
Well, this concludes our inaugural Native, Tribal, Indigenous Cultural Achievement Ceremony. Thank you, Dr. Kadeba. It was just a discussion and a thought, and how can we make it happen? And she made it happen, her and her wonderful staff at OMSA. So thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate y'all. Y'all just don't know, honestly. There's no words, but that's later. Anyway, we have some food next door. So as a celebration of this monumentous occasion, there is a reception in your honor sponsored by the Office of Multicultural Student Affairs, the Office of Inclusive Engagement and Philanthropy, as well as the Office of Alumni Relations. While we are here to celebrate you completing an incredible achievement, you are a ram for life, and thus begins your journey in the VCU alumni world. In the back of the room, see now I need my readers. Just in the back of the room, you will find, next door actually, yummy desserts and refreshments, cupcakes, Lily, as well as alumni and staff. The alumni and staff want to meet you and hear about your successes and your plans for the future. Greet them openly and don't be afraid to share. They've been in your shoes and you can learn much from each other. I truly want to thank everyone for coming out today. Thank you. I can't say thank you enough. Go enjoy. Go enjoy. Congratulations.